I find it funny, now you keep hearing all this stuff coming out about problems with this vaccine, things that are going to haunt humanity for a long time. And a lot of people were trying to tell you that at the time, but people weren't listening. And the same with this constantly wanting to track you and monitor you and everything you do. Now people are figuring, oh, okay, yeah, big problems come from that. But at the time, they're saying, oh, no, don't worry about it. Like when I got my license renewed and they wanted me to get that one with the chip in it and all that, and I refused to do it. And people, oh, no, nothing wrong with that. You got to trust your instinct more in them things. When something like that comes up, there should be some moment of hesitation for your own self-preservation. Just don't go along with it. You always got to say, whoa, just think about this very carefully. But people don't. All that they were pushing this vaccine stuff, and now I hear so many problems coming up. And if I'm hearing them, there's a hell of a lot more that I'm not hearing. But there's people saying, oh, wow, we haven't seen this disease for forever, and all of a sudden here we have this, and we have cancers that they have never seen anything like this before. But you took this stuff that completely knocked out your immune system. So now you're in the medical system where you'll be constantly having to chase these problems because your body won't be able to handle it. I've said before, you have acquired an immune deficiency. But I don't see why people don't, like they think, oh, this was an absolute emergency, had to do this. Though now it comes out, oh, well, it really wasn't, such a big deal. I mean, it was a little tough on the old people or people who had problems with their immune system already. But normal people could just shrug it off until they start taking a vaccine. And all these people that taking this vaccine and they're constantly getting that COVID over and over and over and over. I mean, that's what they're seeing in hospitals now. They aren't seeing cases from people who didn't take the vaccine. They're seeing cases from the vaccinated that now cannot cope with anything. But, you make everything an emergency. So you can't look too close at something. You just got to take their word for it. Well, I don't take their word for it. But there should be a moment where you have a hesitation in there. You just don't go along with that. Well, even now, I love to see here, people saying, oh, the gas is high, but we're on a war footing. This is a war economy. We aren't at war. I mean, the reality is we haven't declared war for a long time on anybody. We have little operations going all the time. But they're trying to use the War Powers Act to pull all these shenanigans. If you aren't going to declare war, you can't do that. But like now, where they're he's trying to use it on the gas prices. Saying, this is a war emergency. No, we aren't at war. keep pissing around, and we will be. But at the moment, we aren't at war. We're just causing other people all kinds of hell, but we aren't. Of course, we weren't at war in Afghanistan. We weren't at war in Vietnam or Korea. We were just doing policing actions, and which is funny because then when Russia's doing their policing action, we think that's ridiculous. Well, that's all we've been doing since World War II. We've got a constant battles going on, but it's just trying to keep the peace by killing people. But they're pissing around now. I've always kind of been keeping an eye on Kaliningrad. I don't know, maybe people don't understand. Maybe a guy should have a map and show people so they can understand this stuff, but it's part of Russia, but it's not connected to Russia. There's kind of between Lithuania and Poland Poland really thinks it belongs to them. Now, Lithuania has decided, well, they will limit Russia's access to Kaliningrad through the rail system. Well, they still have access by water, because basically it's a port city. But there was a treaty involved in that they would have that rail access. And now they're trying to limit it, which technically is a bit of an act of war. And Lithuania didn't do this on their own. They had to chat it over with these other EU people, in particular Poland. But they're going to play around. What's funny? We like to bluster and bluff all the time. The Russians don't do that. They do what they say they're going to do. And for some reason we think we can bluff them all the time. I don't know. That EU is a crazy bunch. But Poland would really like to get Kaliningrad. But I don't think it's going to fly. I think that would be the last straw. I think, well, then, Belarus would not be too tickled about this either. They've had their little quarrels with Poland. Poland is really getting radical, They're thinking, when all this is going on, this is their chance to enlarge the empire of Poland. Because I swear, they're still looking at Ukraine thinking, it was funny too, because I heard the other day here we were whining because Russia keeps blowing up all these damn weapons we send over into Ukraine. As soon as they come across the border, they're legitimate targets. But we're getting upset, evidently, maybe Ukraine is saying, well, we never delivered them, because as soon as they cross the border, they just blow them up. And we're whining about that. Well, how the hell is Russia going to sit there and let them bring them in? Wait until they get up and start killing people with them and then take them out? Take them out as soon as they get there. And if they piss around, they'll start taking them out in Poland. They always threaten they're going to, fly planes out of Poland and that sort of thing, base them in Poland. You do that, you're going to regret that. And that, the Russians plainly warn not to do that stuff, but they can't resist. They wanted to cover the whole country with an umbrella that no missiles could get through. Well, damn well, with those hypersonics, there ain't a damn thing you can do about them anyway. They can do whatever they want. You know, so to pretend that you can do that is quite a stretch. But if they piss around, they will start taking them out in Poland. You know, and that's when NATO gets involved. But, you know, kind of already involved, and we're trying to get our ass out of there. We like providing weapons, but we don't want to really get drug into this a straight-on deal, because that could be hitting us here. So they're kind of backing off on that. But we're leaving it up to these crazy EU people. You know, we should know better. We should just know better than to get involved in that stuff. But there's something drastically wrong with these people that are in charge of these things. Well, anyway, I'll go water the garden and get that done. She's a cooker though, a good 100.